Hello, everyone. My name is Nellie Miles. I'm the Director of the Office of Public and Governmental Affairs for the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, and I am very excited because we are starting a new series, and it's called Dialogue with the Director, where we'll be bringing you updates from GBI Director Mike Register. So let's welcome him to our first show. Hey, Director Register.
Well, hello, Nellie.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here this morning.
Awesome. Well, we're going to just jump right into it and start our first conversation. And the first question I have for you is, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
You know, Nellie, for most of my life, I've served the community either from a law enforcement standpoint or from a military standpoint. I did 23 years in the U.S. Army Special Forces with the 11th and 20 Special Forces Group. I worked at the Cobb County Police Department, retired there in 2005. The first time I was a lieutenant, and I went to Washington, D.C., and there was an organization that had been stood up by the Department of Defense called the Joint IED Defeat Organization, or JIDO. And the sole mission of that organization was to decrease the lethality and counter the lethality of the improvised explosive device that was being used in Iraq and Afghanistan at the time. I was with the organization as a director for almost 10 years. Very proud of the work we did there, and then I transitioned back to Georgia as the Clayton County Police Chief in Clayton County. Great organization, great community. I really enjoyed that, and then I found myself coming back home to Cobb County as the Chief of Police for Cobb County. And again, what a great organization, what a great community, and man, it was just so great to kind of make a full circle and come back home. And then, of course, also with Cobb County, I went on to be the Department of Public Safety Director. I retired again, found myself doing something in the private sector, and then came back to Cobb County. I just can't stay away, can I? And actually was the assistant chief with the new sheriff, Craig Owens, and great opportunity there to assist Craig Owens in changing the culture of that department and doing a lot of great things over there, and he continues to do that. And now I've transitioned to the director of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, kind of like the highlight of my career.
That is amazing. That is some background, but what I'm hearing in all of that is public service. And I guess my next question for you is, what is it about public service? What draws you to public service from the military to law enforcement, and how did you get that within you?
You know, I think that every person, every man and woman in law enforcement or the military, they have one thing in common. They volunteer. Nobody made them go and raise their right hand and say, I do. They stood up and said, let me help. Let me try to be part of the solution. And I think that that's what every soldier, Marine, air person, Navy, law enforcement person has in common. That commitment, wanting to serve, that selfless service to their community and their country. And you know, as human beings, we want to be fulfilled, and that's what's fulfilled me within my life. It's just the ability to serve.
Thank you for that. Well, I guess it brings me to my next question. As GBI director now, it's been a few weeks. You probably have made your way around the building and you know where the main spots are. Like, what do you hope to accomplish as the GBI director?
Well, it's not so much what I hope to accomplish, it's what we hope to accomplish. And when I say we, I mean the command staff there at the GBI, the other leaders, and every person that works there, because I truly think that it is a team effort. You know, I think that the GBI is a great organization, even though I began to be part of the GBI team just a couple of weeks ago, as you stated. I have worked around the GBI a lot of my adult life in a law enforcement perspective, and I've always had the utmost respect for the Bureau, the utmost respect for every person that I came in contact with that represented the Bureau. And I think it's incumbent upon us me to make sure that we maintain the public trust, we maintain the reputation that the Bureau has now, that we give the greatest support that we possibly can to our law enforcement partners around the state. But also, we have to understand that around us the world is changing. And when I say the world is changing, from a law enforcement perspective, from a criminal perspective, from a community service perspective. And we as the Bureau have to maintain the mission that we are currently doing, but we're also going to have to adapt to the world as it changes around us as an organization.
That's right. Well, I appreciate you taking the time here to talk to us and giving us an opportunity to get to know you. What are your closing thoughts that you would have at this point as we launch forward?
I just want to say again that I'm humbled having the opportunity to be part of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. I appreciate the governor giving me that type of confidence, Public Safety Board voting me in. And thus far, the men and women of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, how they've received me with open arms and the hospitality that's been given me. I guess I'll just say an old cliche, I won't let you down.
Thank you, and thank you for taking the time out to talk to us.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you all for joining us. If you have any questions that you would like to ask Director Register yourself, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We can be reached at publicaffairs@gbi.ga.gov, and be sure to follow us on our social media platforms.